everyone. Welcome to the Dance Diaries. I'm Carole.
And I'm Kim. Welcome, everyone.
We're so excited today. We have Elisa Corcoran in the house with us on our Dance Diaries podcast.
Welcome, Elisa.
Thank you for having me.
We are very
Love
excited
being here
on this Saturday morning.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, and that's a big deal why we have you too, because you've been such a great supporter of
I
the
think
podcast.
it's great. I love it.
Thank you. So how long have you been dancing?
Ballroom about just over 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And-
For newbie to it.
And in ballroom, it doesn't appear that way, but in ballroom dancing, but you danced a little bit before that.
Pretty much on and off my whole life. My mom said that when I was little, every time she put music on, I'd be like dancing around. She's like, I want to put her in a ballet class. So that's how it started, ballet. And then it was like, jazz and contemporary.
Yeah.
And then I was actually dancing at a studio in Westport doing contemporary.
Mm-hmm.
And a bunch of my friends were doing ballroom. And they're like,
in the same studio?
In the same studio.
Okay.
They had hired a pro.
Interesting.
And they were doing, I think it was Paragon in Stanford. And they're like, oh, you should come, just, check it out. And so I went and I was like, oh, I gotta do that.
Yeah.
I was like, it's the
Kim?
coolest
Yeah.
thing. That's you? You too?
Kind of. I mean, yes. I always tell everyone when people say, oh, I really want to be a ballroom dancer and I want to compete, but I'm afraid or whatever. The first thing I always say is go to a competition.
Oh, yeah.
Just go to a competition and you'll never ever look back. But yeah.
It's a special world, I say,
Yeah.
ballroom dancing, because you're in it and you know what that's about, and there's only a small group of people that sort of get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a group of people that are like, cool, but they don't get it. Meaning if you invite them to come watch you at a comp or something, you know who you want to invite.
Yes, exactly.
You do.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
do.
So you're a competitor.
I am.
You love to compete.
Yes.
How on average, how many competitions do you do a year, do you think?
About eight or
Wow.
9.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
All
How
over
do
the
you
country.
plan for that? The 8, like, do you do that at the beginning?
We
Like,
started doing it now at the beginning of the year, sort of, picking the ones that we aim to do. Things could change because of scheduling and, life happens. But for the most part, we have a good idea of where we're headed for the whole year.
So, Lisa, is that a strategy, though? Because we had a podcast back in January where it's
Yep.
like, okay, how do you know if you, for example, you're a USDC champion, correct?
Yes.
So if you were to strategize with your partner, how does that kind of evolve at the beginning of the year like that?
Oh, it's huge. So we've already decided that, we're going to do USDC this year. And so it gives you plenty of time to train. Right. So we know what our goal is. We have we're moving from closed to open.
Mhm.
Right. So we have to finish our routines. We have to just, drill them and drill them and drill them. But you have USDC in the back of your head. And so all of the other competitions that we're doing, it's almost like we're going to do Yankee Classic.
Mhm.
We'll probably do Capital, Manhattan, and it's all leading up to the national championships.
When you compete, how many entries do you typically do? And is it always in one style?
I am only International Latin.
Yep.
And I usually do 2 sets of singles and a championship and a scholarship.
Yep.
It's usually my
So
my
is
go-to.
that in order to sustain your 8, throughout the year? For me, that's that's what it would be for me. But yeah.
It's manageable that way.
Okay.
Right. But they feel like you also feel like when you're going that you're dancing. Right.
Yeah.
You're not just going and you're just, doing one
Yep.
set of singles and one
Okay.
scholarship
Yep.
or whatever it is. You get to go out and you get to practice and you get to feel the floor and get the whole experience.
Do you need to warm up, like when you're at a comp, like
Mm.
for what you do? Do you actually go in the warm up room and get yourself psyched? Like what is it your strategy when you arrive at these comps? You do 8 of them. So
Mm.
what's your strategy when you actually get to the comp itself?
I do have kind of a ritual now. So I'll put
Okay.
put my earbuds in. I
Mhm.
have my playlist that I find really motivating. And I usually arrive to the practice room before my partner.
Mhm.
And, just do rumba walks or, I'll stretch, just sort of lubricate the joints and get my
Mhm.
muscles going. And then he'll show up and then we'll go through all 5.
Mhm.
And then, then we're ready to rock and roll. Yeah.
Rock and roll. I probably have to show up an hour before my instructor because I am so full of energy that if I don't get that out of my system,
Yep.
I end up looking a little too hyperactive. So they
Mm.
say when you're tired, you danced your best.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Wow.
yes, or when I perceive that I'm tired,
Right.
for everybody else might look like that's completely normal.
Right.
Right. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's like that doing the singles kind of gets that out of you. You know, like if you do a couple of,
Yeah.
a couple of sets of singles, by the time you go through your second one, you're starting to feel a little like, okay, I'm tired. Like I got that out of my system. And then
So you mentioned to Kim and I that you're super competitive.
yes.
So the reason I asked about your strategy at the competition, because everybody has a different approach. Kim and I even have different approaches there. Like walk us through that whole routine of yours.
So after the warm up, and we're, we'll usually, my partner and I will kind of sit away, kind of get in the zone, so to speak. And he's usually like in my ear, he's in my ear telling me, like being very positive, kind of saying like, just do what you do in the studio, Elisa, just, stay with me. Right.
So he coaches you right there.
He's throughout the whole competition.
Oh
wow.
He's in my ear.
That
he's
is really good.
Absolutely. And we'll get off the floor, after a set, and he'll be like, good. He's like, now give me more.
He tells you that.
Oh yeah.
Great.
But in a positive way, not in a you didn't do well way, but in like, I know you have more, give me more.
Is that because he's gotten to know what motivates you to do better? Or is that just the way he is? Like,
well, I think it's probably a little bit of both. He knows me really well. I mean, like he and I have like been around the country together now, and we're, he and I speak the same language. Right. So, like I'm in tune with him. Like we're in tune when we're in those comps.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
So important. It's so important. So you've had a couple of instructors.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes. I've been blessed.
And you're really blessed now with the current one, as you just mentioned. What are the things for you that checks off the boxes for a really positive experience in a relationship with an instructor?
So, I think for me, again, I equate it to a language. Dima and I speak the same language. And the way he teaches me resonates with me. My first partner, amazing. And I find that some of the things that Dima coaches me on, my previous partner tried, but the way Dima is speaking to me, it unlocked it. And it was actually really quite incredible. Like, when my first partner was on holiday, and I took some lessons with Dima, and I was like, it was
something's
like,
different.
It was like something just switched on, and I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I need to dance with him. And it was really, really hard. I had been with my previous partner. I was very close to him. I had nothing but, warm feelings for him. And it was really hard to walk away from that partnership and get into a new one. But I did it because I wanted to continue my journey.
Right.
And it was just a different journey.
Yeah. Dig into that. What clicked there? Because I think everybody searches for that in some way, or may not have experienced the click. We talk about connection all the time, and connection can mean a great many things.
Yeah.
What did that click ignite in you?
Possibility. Like if I had to equate it to that, like I think that I had at some point I was maybe just, I don't know, it's a plateau.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
I was still learning, but I there was things I couldn't get. And when I danced with him, like I distinctly remember like him, we were just doing a Roomba walk, but it was the way he taught me that I was like, it opened up a completely different, something awoke.
Yeah.
Like my body moved differently. I was like, I didn't even know my body could do that. Right?
That's so funny.
It literally was like, oh, okay, I could do that. Right. And he just gave me this really positive energy. He reminded me of a ballet teacher I had when I was like 8 years old.
Right.
And she was tough. She used to carry a cane around. And,
mine too.
Holy smokes. A cane. Right?
A yardstick.
Yeah. Holy
And
moly.
if you like turn the wrong way in the bar, whack.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Same.
I don't know. Maybe
Was she French?
No.
Madame Galina?
No, it wasn't her, but she was hardcore.
Oh,
She was
mine too.
hardcore.
Yeah.
And on some ways I was terrified of her, but on the same token, like all I wanted to do
Was please her.
was please her and make her proud of
Yeah, me
me.
too.
Right. And that's how I feel about my partner.
Yeah.
You know, he's significantly younger than I am. And I'm
Yeah.
like, how is it that this young man is making me feel like I need to make him proud of me?
Yeah.
Right. And I just, yeah.
So that's also a motivating factor, which I think is important.
Oh, yeah. I hate disappointing him.
Yeah.
I hate disappointing him.
Yeah.
Right. And so, again, it's just another motivating factor. I can't say enough good things about him. I really can't.
Wow.
When you are competing across the country,
Mhm.
what's it like from East Coast, Mid Coast to West Coast, depending on where you've been? And is the competition similar?
No, I think also you may see people that you don't see. Like, so if you're
Okay, so
you know,
new competitors.
definitely new competitors.
There we go.
Yeah.
like, 'cause you start seeing the same folks, and
Yeah.
like, you know, in my case, you know, I keep getting beat by the same person
Do
all
you
the time.
really?
Absolutely, it makes
Yeah.
me nuts.
Nuts. So.
Not begrudging her because she's fabulous,
Yeah.
but like, you know, it's like, but then you go to the West Coast and it's a whole different crew, which is kind of cool too, because then, you know, for me, when I go to see, where am I?
Yeah.
Right. What's my journey? Where am I in my journey?
Yeah.
Right. So you go to a completely different place, then it's a different benchmark, if a different level set.
Yeah.
And then there are some that are really huge.
Yeah.
Some that are smaller. So, you know, that they have a different vibe. Like
Mm-hmm.
some of the bigger ones, like you walk in and you're like, ooh.
Right.
The
We talk
ener-
about that vibe
Ooh.
all the time,
Yes.
Carol and I. We talk about that ballroom vibe and which ones, you know.
Which ones are a little bit more like, wow, this is nice. It's family feeling. It's warm. And then there's some that it's like, get out.
Hard.
Yeah. Yes.
And not to say that that's good or bad, but sometimes that buzz could ignite you in a different way if it's hardcore. If you're a competitor.
I love it.
So which one do you think is that, like, you come ready and you better be ready hardcore? Which one would that look like?
USDC.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's stiff competition, but it's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And but they make the vibe feel really good too.
Yeah.
Like the lighting, the music, the atmosphere. I
Yeah.
mean, it's contagious.
Can you be in the ballroom? I've never been to USDC. Can you be in the ballroom watching as a competitor, or do you have to go somewhere else?
No, you can.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
even more like, for me, that would be buzz. Like I would be like watching people all the time.
It's also really intimidating too.
Oh, is
Yeah.
it?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would
So
imagine.
you're like, oh gosh, I gotta compete.
And that's even more intimidating than Ohio Star.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Because I've heard Ohio Stars. I haven't
Mhm.
competed there yet, but I've heard it's extremely intimidating.
It is
Extremely.
huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. That's another one that is super, super competitive.
Yeah.
And there are so many competitors. I think I have at USDC this last go around in closed silver. We had quarterfinal.
Oh wow!
Oh, wow.
And
Lucky you.
I gotta tell you, physically it was the hardest thing I've ever done.
Why? Because of the repetitive dancing?
Yeah, and I think there was like 15 minutes in between the rounds.
Okay.
So, you know, just catching your breath and you're back out doing another 5. And then you get 10
I would
minutes.
love that, to be honest, because remember I
that's the
told you I
only
have to
way
run
I
around
like
the
it.
building?
Yeah. So that'd be
This is
perfect.
where,
you know?
because what would happen if I could ever get through quarters, semis, and whatever, you would see me rising next game. Like I know myself, because when I've experienced that, I've become even better and better. But that's because now I'm getting the
Nah,
ready
I hate
going.
downtime in between.
Mhm.
Anyone who knows me, I want to be one after the other. The most downtime I want is like 10 minutes. That's it.
Oh, wow.
I go and go and go, because I feel like you're up and you're going, and then you're down, and then you have to like recharge or re-energize your body, your muscles, and all of that. But
It's challenging.
yeah,
It's definitely challenging.
Let's talk Ricardo.
Oh yes, so we've both taken a lot of coaching, but recently I heard that you had the most magnificent
Oh my
opportunity to be
gosh.
coached by Ricardo Cocky. Did I
Oh my
say his
gosh.
name right? Yeah. Mhm.
He is amazing. First of all, I get to the studio and I go into the director. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't dance in front of him. I was like,
What?
It's like a budding actor trying to do a scene with like Robert De Niro.
Yeah, right,
It's like,
right.
oh God, please don't let me
get
screw
like that
up.
too.
Please
Oh
don't
my
let me
gosh,
screw
I
up.
fully understand that.
And I was like, Dima,
I get so nervous when I
Yeah.
get coaching by high level. Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I don't want to embarrass Dima. You know, I was like, okay. I was like, you can do this. And he made it so comfortable. I can't say enough good things about me. And like I was telling you guys earlier, I mean, he was on the floor
Yeah.
fixing my feet.
Yeah.
And again, very similar to Dima, he showed me possibilities. Like we were doing
igniting in you.
yes.
Oh,
Yay.
wow.
He actually would take my body and twist it and move it. And I was like,
This is the way it's supposed to
whoa.
feel, right?
He's like, and then Dima and I were talking afterwards, and he goes, he showed you just how far you can push your body, right?
I love that.
I mean, it was insane.
So I take their online coaching.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you and Ricardo. And earlier when you were saying, "Oh my God, he was so personable and he was like down to earth,
Absolutely.
and he made you feel comfortable and everything," I knew that already about because when I do their online, they are that way with. They have television screens around the studio because they were doing Zoom. Hundreds of people.
Oh, wow.
Oh, across the world.
Yeah, like they would show, they would turn the
Really?
camera and like show.
Oh, wow.
And they have an incredible ability to relate probably to each one of them because they were relating to me.
Yeah.
So it's a quality.
He didn't make me feel stupid.
Yeah,
Like, I've had some coaches that come in and like, you feel like you disappointed them, and
Okay,
they
right.
can be a little hard on you sometimes. But him, I mean, every time I did something good, he was like, brava. And
Nothing but expanding on your current level.
100%.
And you figure he talked to Dima ahead of your arrival to kind of know what to work with, or he just went and kind of did a quick assessment there? What do you think?
Yeah. So what we typically do, and we did it in Ricardo's case as well, we will do one of our dances and he'll get a chance to see. Yeah. And then we'll have like literally 2 minutes in the beginning with Dima, and he'll say, what are we going to do, or what are we, where are we at? And, Dima will explain our journey, and then we'll do a piece for him, and he'll watch and be like, okay. And then
he knew right away.
Wow.
Oh my.
And to watch him dance, I was like, oh,
I know.
So I talked to somebody else that got a coaching with him on the same day. And here's the text message. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And that's all. And from a person that I would never even normally hear that from on a text message. And in addition said, big check mark off their bucket list in terms of an experience that they would never have thought they'd get.
Yeah, I hope he comes back.
Wow.
Yeah, I hope he comes back over and over again.
How's that going to prep you now for your next sort of competitions? Where do you think that's going to change up your either mindset or your actual presentation of your dance?
Well, I think that from what he showed me, it just goes to show, right, that, well, I have work to do.
Okay.
But I want to take what he showed me, like those positions that he put me in. I really need to incorporate that into my body.
So you said when you go to competition, there's always somebody that is like first place or what have you. Now, if in coming out of a coaching like this, does this motivate you to figure out how you can kind of like get your dancing to the next stage and maybe even beat that person?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I am constantly like, trying to I need to get better.
Yeah, I think I'm a closet competitor. I lie.
Kim, you are totally a competitor.
I mean, closet. I lie a lot. I compete with myself. But meanwhile, after talking to you and you're like, I'm a competitor and I have to win. I'm like, me too.
Yeah.
So deep down, I guess I'm like that too. But we all compete differently,
Absolutely.
With the way that Elisa said she's competitive. Now, I'm interested in the difference between the way you described your competition and yours. Were you ever like the way Kim describes and evolved to what you are today, or were you always I'm here to compete, people?
Yeah, no, I've always been that way. But it's sometimes it's I was telling Kim earlier that like I was having a conversation with Dima right before Tri-State, and I was like, not only the physical part is challenging, right? Like it is. Nothing about International Latin is normal, right? It's not how you normally.
Nothing about it. You don't walk that way. Nothing about it.
The Roomba walk is not a walk,
right?
No,
it's like
a whole
total fabrication of a walk.
But I said to him, I was like, the mental part of this, it is so challenging. And I'm sure it's different for everybody. Some people go to competitions to have fun, get dressed up, like just they want to go and have that camaraderie, that amazing energy.
Mhm.
But then there's some of us who are just like in it to win it. The mental preparation is almost more challenging
Yeah.
than the physical part. Your body's going to do what it's going to do,
Mm.
but your head,
Yeah.
oh, forget it.
Well, all bets are off.
It's a make or break.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a make or
tell us
break.
more
So
about
true,
that,
yeah.
though. Tell us more.
You know, I've been in the situation that you're talking about where, you know, you're like, I got this. But then I think that for me, I got this translated into I wasn't as edgier. I wasn't as edgy as I could have been. Right. I didn't have as much energy because in my head I was like, I got this.
Mm.
So I don't take it for granted. So when I go out there, I'm like, you know, any of these ladies could beat me.
Yeah.
I need to go out there. I need to own it. I need to go out there and be a queen.
Yeah.
And be like,
Yeah.
queen,
Yeah.
I like
I need to go
it.
out and
I
be a
love
queen.
it.
And Deem and I have this funny thing that we do. You know, it's a mental thing,
Uh-huh.
and it will be on the loading area there, and I'll look at him, I'll nudge him, and he's like, "You're awesome."
So
I
this is
love
on deck.
that.
Dang, girl.
I love that.
That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can just arrive and it's like your
Yeah.
mindset is just looking out on the floor,
And
or
you're
you're
Yeah,
holding
freaking
your
yeah.
hand.
out.
You
You're
know?
freaking
Yeah.
out, and he looks at me, he smiles, and he says, "You're awesome," and then off we go.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
The heck.
And it's just
I love
with a big
that.
smile, like, and then now he's like, "No, he's like, just focus on me."
How about when you're in the middle of your comp? Has there been a time where either you've had a little blip or something, and how do you recover from that?
Well, I'm sure it happens to everybody, but
It
I
does.
I had a doozy. It was my I think I had been dancing maybe about a year. I was at Miami Vibe.
Miami Vibe. Woo.
Great comp.
Nice.
Great
Yes.
comp. And we're doing samba. And all of a sudden, I literally it was like something glitched in my brain.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what dance I was doing. I just
that's what
stopped. He looked
happened.
at me and he's like, he's trying to like get me back. And
Mhm.
it took me a good like, you know, 1,000, 2 1,000, like, okay. And then back I went. But then, you know, we talked about it afterwards and he's like, what happened? I was like, I don't know. I just blanked out.
Yeah, sometimes
It's-
fear or something.
You know, I remember like in my in my last partnership, we would have like a place where we would pick up from.
Oh, good.
Oh, that's smart.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you ever had like a complete
Smart.
brain drain
Yeah.
and like it was like, you would know where to pick up from. Like, let's start there.
So
You know?
your instructor just on the total positive part, or does he correct in between?
No, he will, but in a positive way. I don't feel like he's criticizing me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I it's such a partnership that I know I take it in a very positive way.
Mm-hmm.
But the very first thing he'll do when we leave the
Mhm.
floor is good job or great job.
Okay, good
Now-
reinforcement.
Nice. Yeah.
And then he'll say, now do this, right? Like, or give me this. And then when he says, give me more, like I know what he wants, right? You know, he just wants more energy.
Yeah,
He wants
yeah.
more confidence. He wants
Yeah.
that more queen.
More queen.
More
I love
queen.
that.
Love
More
it, next girl.
queen. Yep. It's a work in progress, right?
Yeah,
It is such a
yeah.
work in progress. And the moment you think that it's not, like you might as well. I think it was Dima actually said it to me.
Mhm.
The moment it's not, like you're done.
You're done. You're
Right.
done.
So I'm just gonna keep
yeah.
listening,
Learning and-
doing what he's telling me to do because I know he believes
Mhm.
in me, and that fuels me too. And so I'm just gonna keep training and keep working hard. And I know that eventually, the results are gonna be there. You know, and as much as I'm a competitor, as long as I'm keep growing and I'm getting better and better,
That's exactly how I feel. Yeah. Yeah.
just gonna keep
What's your
doing
end
it.
game?
My end game is to be a finalist at Blackpool. And when I told Dina
By
that,
what time frame? What time frame?
I'm aiming like 2026. And
Nice.
you know what Dima's response to me was? Why just a finalist? Like that's the kind of coach I have.
So I was gonna say that, but
Yeah.
wasn't my place. But yeah.
Yeah, that way I'm not like completely disappointed.
Yeah.
Are you doing opens now, or is it still closed?
We are transitioning from closed to open, and it is so cool.
Yeah.
It
So
is so cool.
Kim's in the middle of that too.
Well, I've had my 3 for several
Okay.
years. My
Right,
3
right.
opens, rumba, cha-cha, swing,
Mhm.
American rhythm. But yeah, now I'm getting my other 2, bolero and mambo
You're loving it.
for the 5 in full open silver.
Mm,
Yeah.
And for
It's
you, it's in silver category as
gold.
well. Gold category.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in gold as well.
Yep.
But it is very different, right?
Oh, it's
It's like kind of get your
amazing.
mindset out of, I'm not to say syllabus steps, but it's what more you can do with that freedom,
Ooh.
right?
But you know what? There's something quite comforting in syllabus.
Yes.
Like you know exactly what you're expected to do. But now it is like not that syllabus wasn't fun, but this is fun.
This
Yeah.
is
I
fun.
would
Do you have
imagine.
choreographies all lined up now, or
We have Roomba, and we've been trying it out. So I'm still doing clothes.
Okay, got you. That's a great
So,
strategy.
Yeah, so at
Mhm.
New York Dance Fest, we did I don't know how many open Roombas. And so we're almost done with cha-cha, and we'll probably do the same thing at the next comp, just kind of
Yep, get your
inserting
feet
it
wet.
and just, cuz it's a completely different vibe.
Oh yeah. What's your next comp?
Next one is Yankee Classic.
Oh, when is that?
June.
Really June.
June.
Yeah, up in
Where's Yankee?
Boston.
Oh, in Boston.
So I was
That's
there
right,
last year.
right.
I loved it.
Oh.
That's where I did my 2 showcases.
Oh, that's right.
I
Yes.
didn't go last year.
I liked it.
It is. It's a nice comp. It's
They're
very
changing
nice.
the venue,
I
and it's
heard,
a
yeah.
much nicer venue hotel,
Yeah.
which is going to be great in location. Igor does a great
Yeah,
job.
he does.
Yeah.
Yes, he
So,
does. Yeah,
mhm.
and we're then we'll be Manhattan.
Yep. Any tips you can give as a pro-am ballroom dancer to someone like you rising up?
Well, give yourself grace.
Yeah.
Give
Yep.
yourself some grace. And have fun.
Have fun. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like if you like being a competitor, like embrace that, lean
Yeah,
into that.
yeah. I love that.
Enjoy the journey.
I
Like,
And you
Yeah.
enjoy just being a competitor.
oh,
Yeah.
love it.
So
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
me too.
see, like, so I get off the floor and I always like say, I just loved being out there. But what I never say out loud is, dang, and I also like the other stuff. But I always
Oh,
outwardly
yeah.
say, I so enjoyed it. I'm glad I got out of what I needed to today. That's my mindset of keeping calm through, because I get hyper.
Right.
So, but interiorly, I'm like, oh yeah, that was good heat or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't wait. Like I don't like it's like 2 months before having my next comp.
What
Yeah.
other tips do you have for aspiring sort of competitive pro-am dancers as they get ready, for their upcoming comps?
Make sure that you have the right partner. Don't be afraid to change things up. When you go into a studio for the first time, you're usually assigned to
Yes.
Mhm.
a
Yes.
pro.
Yeah.
Right. Depending on what your interests are. So you don't really choose your pro.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
And you usually start down your journey with that pro. And if it's not a good, or you're not getting what you need from that partnership, it's okay. Find another partner. Right.
Mhm.
And it's not about being disloyal, right? It's just about your own personal journey. That's advice too that I would give.
We want to thank you so much.
Oh,
It's a
my
pleasure to
pleasure.
have you here on a Saturday morning, taking your
been
time
wonderful.
to share with us and everyone.
Thank you.
And remember, folks, if you love this, remember to like and subscribe and share with everyone. And also comment, because we are always looking for suggestions, topics, what you want to see more of or less of. And we want to keep this going. So
Thank you, everyone.
you.
And thank you. So good luck on your next one.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.